as Jen mentioned, Mary and I both attended Convergence this year, and we're both client account managers here at Crestwood. So if any of this information sounds interesting to you and you want to hear more, definitely reach out to us. Some of the topics that we're going to cover today are going through the GP release schedule and the roadmap, some of the new release features of GP 2015, the 50 tips in 50 minutes, highlights from that session, and a little bit about GP reporting and Power BI and self-service user licenses that are now available. And then we'll end with a little question and answer session. So to get started, Microsoft has announced that they are doing like a biannual release cadence of their products. So we saw GP 2015 came out in December, and GP 2015 R2 will be coming out later this year. So, with that, this latest version, we've seen a lot of enhancements related to the service-based architecture, as well as what they're doing with every release is adding in features and functions that you guys as users are bringing to Microsoft's attention. So definitely if there's something that you'd like to see come out in a future release, go ahead and submit your feedback to connect.microsoft.com, and hopefully there'll be enough feedback that Microsoft will add that to a future release. So one of the things with the service-based architecture, if you guys are developing apps or have other products that are trying to talk to your GP data, basically, you're talking about integrations and things like that, the service-based architecture is using the HTTP REST protocol, RESTful web services, to do that that integration between GP and these other applications that you might be developing. So that's definitely the wave of the future. Another feature was the Workflow 2.0. There's new enhancements to the workflow that came out in GP 2013 R2, but with GP 2015 we see more workflows added with vendor approval, GL, AR, and AP batch approvals, as well as some others related to project accounting. So the workflows are there to help automate some of your business processes in GP, and we can definitely show you how these workflows work. If you're interested in hearing more, just let us know. Another feature that was added in GP 2015 is the ability to copy homepage and content to other GP users. So if you are a power user and you're adding a new GP user, if you just want to copy somebody's security as well as everything from their front page, their homepage, to another user, it's really a time saver. So hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of that feature. With the Smart List Designer that came out in GP 2013 R2, now there is the added functionality to create refreshable Excel reports in GP 2015. So once you've created that smart list and you've got it in Excel, when you go back to Excel and open it up again, you're able to refresh it right from Excel. You don't need to push it out from GP. There is a lot with the ACA reporting. If you guys haven't heard about the Affordable Care Act and you're interested in that, we can definitely tell you more. Within the HR module, if you are tracking insurance eligibility for your employees, if you're running payroll in GP, this is definitely something that might interest you. You're able to produce the 1095Cs out of GP, and there's some new screens that are added in that HR module. So getting on the newer version of GP 2013 R2 or GP 2015, you'll have this capability. And then finally, in the keynote address at Convergence, they were talking a lot about your business as a whole and how Microsoft Dynamics has the solution for you. And with that, they touched on O365 and Delve, which was just released, as well as CRM Online. And so when you think outside the box, outside of what just GP has to offer, with your whole organization, Microsoft has a solution for you. And with that, they're talking about making it easier for your teams to collaborate, and that's what you'll see with the Delve product. So if you want to hear more about these offerings, definitely let us know. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mary.
Hi, how's everybody doing today? I just wanted to welcome you and thank you for joining us today. This is one of my favorite events every year, is to go to Convergence and to find out what's new and get excited about Convergence again. So getting excited about GP and finding out what other products integrate with GP and getting excited about the new features. So thanks, Melissa, for sharing some of those with us today. My topic today is to talk about 50 tips in 50 minutes, which is my favorite session at Convergence, because you have plenty of time to learn about these features and kind of learn more about GP that you didn't even know you had. And a lot of the tips and tricks that Mark Polino does are related to modules that you may just didn't know you had, and even on your version. So I know a lot of folks are still on GP 2010, and that's why we want to get you excited about GP 2013 R2 and GP 2015, which came out last year. And if you're thinking about doing an upgrade, take advantage of some of those features. The presentation that Mark does is available under dynamicsaccounting.net/presentation. So you can download all of these tips and tricks with links to each one of these tips. So if you like them, maybe jot that down. Jen, will these slides be available too? I know the presentation is available online if you guys want to research it, but if you want to just take a quick note to not write down dynamicsaccounting.net/presentation, you can get all of these tips and tricks and links to how to use them. Great stuff. So one of the things in 2015 is on the navigation is being able to do document management at a very, very basic level. So you can go into pretty much every window in GP and attach multiple documents to it. So that document attachment feature is really, really exciting. So make sure that you guys check that out. That's something that we want everybody to take advantage of. So go ahead and fill up GP. Get all of your paper documents in a PDF format or JPEG and put them right there in the documents that they relate to. A couple of things on the general ledger side. I'm sure if anybody has been using GP for a while, like I have, sometimes you need to go back and reverse your year-end. So this is allowing you to do that, to actually reverse your year-end close and back everything out, all of the journal entries that happen, and put you back to where you were before the journal entry, before the year-end started. So something that you are available in 2015 is this go back in time and reverse your year-end close. Hopefully you don't need to do that very often, but at least it's there for us in case we need it. One of the things that people are really excited about, this came out with GP 2013, is the copy and paste right into your general ledger. If you wanted to be able to do that out of the box, it's right there in 2013. We also have the script that allows you to be able to do this in an earlier version. So if you're interested in copying and pasting journal entries, let us know. We can activate that or show you how to do that in 2013 or 2015, but you can also do it in 2010 with just a piece of code that we can install for you. So those are exciting tips. Fixed assets, I know not a lot of people have fixed assets, but it's a great module. It's one of my favorite modules in GP, and I tell everybody you should use it because it works. It's integrated with purchasing, integrated with payables, and it also integrates, of course, with general ledger. And one of the exciting things about it is this auto-numbering fixed assets by class. So if you have, you have furniture and fixtures, you have, computer equipment, and you want to number them, maybe starting with F for furniture and fixtures, this is a cool feature. I like this because otherwise it just is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's not an exciting way to number your fixed assets. So if you need that, check that out. That's available in 2015 as well. On the sales side, we just kind of picked out a couple of things I think are interesting. If you do sales order processing, you now have the ability to suggest items that might go along with a specific item. So if you're selling couches and you want to see if people want to buy chairs or furniture, that's something that I think is kind of nice. So that pops up when you're in the entry window with the related sales items that you can suggest. On the inventory side, I like this feature too. So if you're using the inventory, there's really an easy way now to assign items to sites. Before you had to kind of identify which sites and which inventory items were going to go to those sites. And it worked pretty well, but this is a much faster and easier way to do it by assigning the items to the sites instead of the sites to the items. And that's in GP 2013, so if you have that feature already, we can get that for you. Okay, a couple more on the purchasing side. I know several people have asked me in my 16 years of doing GP, what kind of things can we do to meet the unclaimed property rules in Illinois? You know, if you write a check to someone and they never cash it, according to the state of Illinois, you should be giving that back to the state after a certain period of time. And so if the check is unclaimed. So that's one of those things that we have some tips and tricks from Mark on how to account for those. So basically, we're voiding the checks and putting them through a different account to keep track of that. So we can always write that check to the state if that is required. So those as cheat and unclaimed property rules in Illinois, and probably other states too, have that rule. So you can comply with that. There's some new features in 2015 allowing you to get the requisition module. So before 2013 and 2015, Business Portal had a requisition module, but now within the Dynamics GP itself, you have a new requisition module that allows you to enter requisitions, and you can enter those requisitions and turn them into purchase orders right within GP. So that's exciting. And it also takes advantage of the new workflows that Melissa mentioned. So you can have those approved by managers or supervisors and have them move along through the payables process all the way through the purchasing and payables system. Very cool. Now those users, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but those people that are creating requisitions will need a self-service user, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. You can, oh, this is a neat thing too. You can have the purchase order number checked. So when you're entering a payables transaction, you can make sure that there wasn't a purchase order for that payables invoice that you're paying. So you don't automatically put something in the payables system that should have been matched against the purchase order. So this is a really nice feature. This is in 2015 to make sure that you aren't double paying for inventory items or items that you purchased on a purchase order that you are putting into the system with an invoice. Okay. A couple other things. There's some new features in the Management Reporter tool. That's the replacement for FRX. So those of you guys that are on GP 2010 may have heard about Management Reporter, but when you upgrade, we're going to go ahead and migrate your FRX reports to Management Reporter, which is a replacement tool for FRX. It works almost exactly like FRX. It has rows, columns, and trees. It has a lot of new features, and one of them is this wizard. So you can create reports using the account categories. I want to just create a quick balance sheet, just group all my cash, group all my receivables, group all my liabilities. You can create really quick reports using that wizard, so check that out with Management Reporter. There's also kind of a nice tool that's available from a company called ViewPost. It allows you to give your customers and vendors access to some of their information in GP. Something what we can help you review that if that's something that you're interested in. It's under viewpost.com/IBG. That's something that you might want if you're interested in kind of giving some of your customers and vendors information about where they're at. You know, they can see their own invoices and see what's due to be paid. That might be something you can talk to us about. We'll help you with that. One of the things that came out in 2013 is the Smart List Designer. I'm sure everybody uses Smart List, which is a great way to get information from GP, but the Smart List Designer is basically allowing you to create your own Smart Lists and create them by linking to specific tables. Maybe it's a table in GP, maybe it's a view in GP, or maybe it's another SQL table that you want to pull in. But you were kind of limited, so you just had to say, okay, this is my report, now I'll export it to Excel. Well, within 2015, you can actually create reports that start in Excel. So you can just open up an Excel report and automatically have that Smart List report that you built linking to the live data. So Excel reports, Excel refreshable reports. Good stuff. We're going to talk about that in a little bit when we get to Power BI discussion. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions when we go along. Pop them into the questionnaire there and the chat window, and Jenny can stop me, or we can maybe we'll just stop really quick and see if anyone has any questions now. Jenny, anybody got anything you want to talk about so far, or everybody okay?
Let's give people a minute, Mary. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to type that in. I don't see anything coming in quite yet, but we'll give people...
They're busily writing down all the tips that they want to learn.
Right. We'll give people a couple more minutes, and then we can move on.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody gets their question. Sometimes you think of something, you don't want to forget it, so... Okay. We'll stop at the end too and see if anybody has any other comments or questions about Convergence too as we go along. We want to make sure everybody has a chance to talk.
Sounds good. I don't see anything coming in yet, Mary, so
okay.
Why don't you go ahead and we'll ask at the end.
Got a few more tips. One of the things I think is really neat too is I've seen people ask this question before. How do I know that I have all of my security given out to all the users? So if I want to see, like if somebody says we should be using the SafePay module, I want to find out who uses SafePay module or if anybody's using the SafePay module. So there's a report called the Unsigned Security Operations, and that's something that's with a support debugger that you would be able to run and find out, which users are using which modules. It's a great tool, free tool from Microsoft. If you don't have it installed, that's something we automatically install when we do your upgrade. So it's a great way to find out some of those security questions you might have. Oh, Melissa already mentioned this, but copying home page from one user to another is a really quick way to get users set up in the system. Or if you have a temporary employee that needs specific access and you don't want to have to manually, create it every time you have a new temp, go ahead and copy that home page. And you can also copy the shortcuts. That's not on here, but that's something that's been out for a while. So if you use the shortcut button on your home page to keep track of all the windows that you like, you can copy that to users as well. Under support, we just have a couple of different things that we want to talk about. So when you go to 2013, actually, there's a new window called Action Pane that shows up on every screen, and sometimes it's a little disorienting, so you might want to turn that off, and you're able to do that too. Sometimes things are too new, or there's too much landscaping taken up by the Action Pane, so you can turn those off. Also found a really good tip on how to find your SA password, and that's something that you would be able to find out by downloading that presentation from the Dynamics Accounting.net/presentations. You can figure out your lost SA password, or even your lost password is another way to get that. So if you ever lose those, we can definitely help you find those. There's a kind of a cool window that comes up when you're getting ready to take down GP. Instead of just kicking the users rudely out of the system, you can warn them that GP is going to go down in an hour or 2 hours for maintenance, and that gives people a chance to cleanly exit GP without having them stuck in the system. We've probably heard a little bit about, when we talk about the cloud or talk about Microsoft Cloud, called Azure. It's giving you a way that you can back up your data to the cloud. So some of you may be doing that already. Maybe you're using another vendor for backing up your data to the cloud. That's great. Microsoft offers that as well, and it's very, very reasonable. So if you are looking at a place to store your backups of your server data, you might want to look at Azure. It's something we can help you with, get pricing for. It's basically infrastructure as a service that's available for a very low price. Large amounts of data storage are available in the cloud. One of the other things, too, is there's a new tool called the SQL Performance Analyzer. So that's something that you can find out if you're having some problems with GP, the users are experiencing some slowdowns, or system stops working for them, or when they run checks, certain things happen. You can troubleshoot them with this new SQL Performance Analyzer tool. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the GP reporting and Power BI tools. So, please let Jen know if they have any questions on the chat line, and I'll be glad to pause again after that section. Okay, so one of the things that we talked a lot about at Convergence was this tool called Power BI, and there was a lot of confusion among the users on what it is. So if anybody is running Office 365, and that's basically an online software as a service access to your Office. So you can get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, access all of the Office suite. You can get them available through Office 365 for a small amount per user per month. And I hesitate to say how much it is, but it's like a few dollars per user per month. And it gets you the latest and greatest version of Office, which I think is the greatest thing about it. You also have access to store all your data in the cloud. You can also use it for hosting your Outlook, for your Exchange server, and for hosting SharePoint. So if you have a SharePoint server, putting them in the cloud is a great way for users to have access to their data all the time from any device. So along with the Office 365 tools, they've added some collaboration tools, and that's what Power BI is. It's a way to use Excel and all the functions of Excel 2013 to be able to do power pivots, power charts, power with large amounts of data. So you can pull in huge subsets of data from whether it's a database that you're storing or whether it's a publicly available database and you want to churn out some information about your industry, information about your customers, your sales. You can work with huge amounts of data now in Office 2013 with the Power Pivot and Power Charts data. So when you pull out and create some of these cool charts and graphs, now you can share them using the Power BI tool. So you can create your own dashboards, and I've just got an example there of a couple of pivot charts that were created using Power BI. So just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about what that terminology is, how you can get to your data, whether it's GP data or it could be any other kind of data that you're storing, that you're manipulating. As long as you can get to the SQL databases, you can pull that information out. Hundreds of millions of lines of data are available supposedly, and you can manipulate them easily using the Power BI tool. Okay, and anyone that has a business email account can definitely try out the Power BI tools for free. They even have a really nice data set that you can start working with and create some of these power charts and these dashboards yourself. So definitely, I tried it out. I wanted to look at the dashboards, and speaking of dashboards, some of these dashboards are great. They look really nice, but they're not really related to GP information. But there are some websites that we can share with you. There's blog articles on where you can download free dashboards that work with Office 2013, and then you can look at them and look at your GP data with these dashboards that are pre-built for you. So if you like working in Excel, you like the idea of building dashboards, let's get you upgraded to 2013 and Office 2013 so that you can take a look at some of these dashboards that are available by people that like to share information. So that's great. Okay. I'm going to pause really quick and see if anybody has any questions either about the tips and tricks or about working with Excel and Power BI. Anything that anybody has right now?
I don't see anything yet, Mary.
Okay, just want to give everybody a chance.
Mm-hmm. If something comes in, I can interrupt you too if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So one of the topics that I wanted to talk about today, too, is the different licensing for 2015. So anybody that's on 2013, you probably know that you have perpetual licensing now. So that's something that you go to. And basically what it is it's a new licensing model, which pretty much everything, all the financial modules, all of the inventory, all the distribution modules, and HR and payroll are now included in what's called the starter pack. And then there's the extended pack for those of you that need project accounting, field service, and manufacturing. So those are the two sets basically of all the modules. There's starter pack and extended pack. So when you go to that module, there's additional functionality that's available, including these workflows. And to use some of those workflows in 2013 and 2015, you're going to need a new user. It's called the self-service user. You'll still have your full users, which have the ones that you have now, which are full concurrent users. Nothing's changing with that. Those will continue to be used, and you'll have the same number of users. But Microsoft will give you 3 times the number of GP users for you to be able to roll out the self-service workflow. Okay? So if you have 10 GP users, you're going to get 30 self-service users when you upgrade to 2015. Okay? So you need those to be able to enter requisitions, to be able to enter timesheets, to do expense reports, in project accounting, to do project accounting time materials, and some of the self-service modules in human resources, okay? And we're going to go through those in detail, but I just want to let you know about this new license. It's called a self-service user, and Microsoft gives you 3 times your number of GP users to get started. Okay, so those of you that have Business Portal now, you might have these Business Portal users or light users. Those are going to translate when you upgrade to 2015 to limited users. And limited users are in between a full user and a self-service user. Limited users are allowing you to see access to GP through a read-only access. You cannot do any transactions except for entering time. But you can only read the data. So you have 3 users now. You have full users, which you have now. Then you have these limited users if you had Business Portal users. And then you will get for free these self-service users. You have 3 times your number of GP users. You can always add additional ones for $60 each. Okay, so what are we going to use those self-service users for? I know I'd mentioned we're going to be able to do requisitions. We're going to be able to do HR and payroll related things, and some project accounting related things. And these are the roles that will need to be. The reason I put these in there is because it kind of gives you an idea of the functionality that you can use those self-service users with. Okay, so one of them is the employee self-service. That's what ESS stands for. The employee role, and that person can enter their time cards and look at time card history. Okay, so you need to have that role to be able to enter time cards. Now, if you want to be able to update your benefits, so if you're using human resources in GP, you want to be able to go in and select your benefits and select, which your W-4 information, just update your personal information. That's called the employee self-service, employee benefit self-service role, and you need to be able to see that to see the benefits and enroll in your benefits. PTE stands for project time and expense. So if you are using the project accounting module, you'll need that role to be able to enter your expenses and enter your timesheets. Another role that's available is the employee self-service purchase requester. So if you are going to roll out the requisitions module and you think that's great, I'm going to be able to let all my employees go in and do requisitions, and then those will roll into purchase orders, they'll need to have that role, the purchase requester role. And these roles that we're talking about, just to clarify, those are security roles in GP. So if you're on GP 2010 or later, you were familiar with those roles. That's how security is given in GP. When your user is added, you don't have any security at all. You basically just need to give them roles. And these are just new roles. Okay. So the purchase requisition, then be able to view them after you put them in, and also look at the history. Okay, so those are the purchase requester. And then, of course, you need to have the approvers, and that's what the employee manager is. So that manager can manage your employee profile and view and approve time cards. Okay, and then I think there's a couple other roles on this next page. Nope, that's it. Those are the 5 roles for the full or limited user. I'm sorry, the self-service user. Now, you can give these roles to the full and limited user, too, just to clarify. That's what that's for. Okay. Does anybody have questions about the self-service user? It's probably all new to you guys, but you'll hear it. You'll hear it from us as we go through your upgrade proposal. We'll talk about what you get and how you're going to transition. If you're on Business Portal, we'll be glad to walk through any of those questions with you guys so that you feel really comfortable. If this is the first time you're hearing about it, don't worry. There'll be many, many chances for you to learn more about it. Just kind of pause here, see if anybody has any questions about that. feel free to interrupt me too if anything comes in that you guys want to talk about. One of the things that we talked about, and I've been hearing from a lot of users about how much the GPUG, which is GP user group, in the Dynamics community has really expanded. So, I mean, I was involved with this when it first started up a few years ago, and it was, you know, maybe like 100 people attended. But the one that they had last year, I think it was in Colorado, it was a huge amount of people. There were thousands of people there, and they were all GP users and wanting to learn more about GP and doing deep dives into what functionality is available in GP. Just kind of talking to other users, talking to some partners, talking to the ISV partners, find out what's the best solution, what's the best practices, and it's all GP all day long for 3 or 4 days. 3 days, I guess. It's October 16th through the 19th. So those are the wrong dates, aren't they? Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong. Those should be the 13th through the 16th. We'll send you an email. But those are the
Correct.
wrong dates.
It starts on the 13th.
I have no idea why I put those dates in there, but sorry. It should be 13th through the 16th. If you're interested in finding out more about that, it's in Reno, Nevada, October 13th through the 16th. I probably should change that right now. Let me just change it really quick so everybody's not. Mary told me it was the 19th, so 16th. And that's in Reno, Nevada, and start planning for that trip because I think it would be really great for you guys to find out more about the information. Of course, you know, Dynamics conference, the Convergence conference is going to be in New Orleans in 2016, but if you can't wait that long, you know, definitely think about making a trip out to Reno and then find out more about the GPUG Summit at gpugsummit.com, and we'll have all the information about that as we get a little closer, what the speakers will be, what the topics will be. So hopefully that would be something that you guys could look forward to. And, you know, let me know if you have, because I did attend it when it was here in Chicago about 5 years ago, and I'd be glad to share my experience with that. Actually, it was in St. Louis. I said Colorado, but it was in St. Louis last year, so a lot of our customers went to that. But something that you're wanting to find out more about GP, let us know. And I guess that's about it as far as the topics we had covered for you today. Again, let us know if you have any questions. I'll pause, see if anybody has anything that they've thought up as we were going along.
Mary, can you put back the slide with the pictures of you and Melissa with your emails? Sometimes with all the new information like you guys went over today, I know I think of things afterwards, and it'd be nice maybe just to have your emails up there for people. Again, they can contact you directly. Otherwise, if people need information too, everybody has my email. I'm the one who sends out all the marketing stuff and the registration links, so feel free to email me also if you need answers to any questions after the webinar is over. So thank you very much, Melissa and Mary, both for presenting today.